I'm Kim Rutherford and welcome back to my channel. I've got a guest with me today. This is Ali.
Hi.
She's one of my Reiki students. I'm shuffling some cards. We often do this regularly to get guidance for the day when we're a bit stuck. So I thought, let's start off shuffling. Pass them to Ali.
Oof. So these are oracle cards, aren't they? They're
Yes.
not tarot cards. So the difference between oracle and tarot is tarot normally have to use a book to decipher them. Oracle are a little bit more precise, I suppose. A little bit more direct,
Yes.
would you say?
Yeah, I think the meaning of each card is probably a little more in depth rather than tarot having to define it and maybe channel the answer.
Yeah.
So this is for people that aren't channeling.
It's a good way to start with cards, I guess.
Yeah.
Good little feeling muddled, maybe jump onto the oracle.
Yeah. So we'll see what card Ali gets out and then we can go from there and see what today's going to bring.
This should be interesting. Alright, let's see what the universe has for me. Oh God.
It's out already.
I got 3, so the universe wants 3
Ooh.
for me. Oh dear.
Well, he looks good. This is
Ooh.
promising maybe for Ali.
Does he come my way?
Ooh.
Oh my
And maybe
goodness.
this one. Ooh.
Can he come into my early? And then daughter romance.
Ooh.
Oh God.
This could
Oh,
be interesting.
no. So I got 3 cards. Are we going to do yours?
Let's see now. The first one that came out was the 3rd chakra, Archangel Shamuel. Do you think that would be Shamuel?
Camuel?
Camuel.
Camille?
Anyway, he looked pretty hot. And the second one, man holding a coin. So I'm going to say that perhaps the man she's going to meet is going to be hot with a lot of money. And the daughter romance is definitely one of these guys.
Oh no.
Hot and with money.
Oh God. Oh God.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Romance
Romance.
and money, or where it takes you from now. How has Reiki helped you with your romance?
Wow. Oh my goodness. Definitely major factor. I mean, being in a relationship with someone that isn't Reiki can be quite challenging as well. But on the other side of things, when you do Reiki, it changes your mindset of how you look at the world. And you realize what people come into your life and leave your life as well. And romantically, the partners that I've had, it's so evident of the lessons that I'm learning with them and what essence they bring into my life. So for my Reiki journey, I definitely find that I'm learning a lot more for each of these relationships.
Do you find it difficult? Like if they're not Reiki, do they understand the journey you're on?
I mean, I've had one partner who was very understanding, a bit frightened of the world. He needed to know more knowledge, but very much understanding. And on the other side of things, I have had a partner that was very much, nope, don't understand, don't really want to know about it. And I took that on as it was my job to kind of teach him a little bit, introduce him to the world, because it is such a big part of my life, and how I use it in my everyday life to sustain the lifestyle that I want.
Do you think, though, when you're doing Reiki, that if you've been growing with your Reiki, and because of course, which is character building, that you get to a point where you're not as tolerant of some of these men?
Definitely, 100%.
So how do you deal with that?
I mean, communication is key. If this person is supposed to be in your life for the long term, I guess communicating where you're at, and if he's meant to be there, or he or she, doesn't matter, you'll be able to communicate that successfully. If not, I think the universe has a funny way of going, okay, this person in your life has served its purpose. It's time to move on. It's definitely challenging, but I mean, there's someone out there that's going to have that wavelength, isn't there?
Yeah, well, that's it. I think the more you grow with Reiki, the more you get rid of excess baggage. You bloom as a person, and then you attract the person that is at that same vibrational level as you, that has that same understanding and have spiritually awakened already, so they match you on your path. Sometimes though it's really, really difficult. Like I know with Reiki, a lot of students have put out to meet their soulmate, and when they do, they find that they're really, really difficult to live with a soulmate.
I have to say though, on the soulmate thing, like I'm a big believer on soulmates, massive believer. I also believe that soulmates don't necessarily mean forever. I think that a soulmate is a person that comes in your life that you've had a soul contract with in, perhaps on your blueprint, that's going to aid in who the woman or man you're going to become, and that it's keeping you on track, on your path. So, and I've heard so many cases where people are like, oh, this is my soulmate, and they can't live together, or they can't travel together, or they can't do certain things together, and that's not because they're not your soulmate. It just means that they're two different beautiful souls that have different paths that we're complementing.
Yeah.
You know?
My theory is with soulmates is that you are put on the planet together to meet, to actually build your character even more.
Yeah.
Like, it's really difficult to be with each other because they push all the buttons. They trigger everything for you. So you have to actually do something about it.
Yeah.
So you've got to work on it, and you've got to become a better person, and I guess compromise a lot more. So yeah, soulmates are not easy. Not at all.
Not at all. I mean, any relationship isn't easy, really. And you put in the mix your own spiritual journey, their spiritual journey, and, you know, there's so many things that come up with it. And us Reiki people, I guess we're a little bit more sensitive, a little bit more, can feel it a lot more and recognize it, I suppose is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that when, say for example, a conflict has come up and we realize that within ourselves that's really bothering us, for me, I take it and I go, okay, how can I better this? How can I change this? How can I increase myself within this so it's not another conflict coming up, another issue? And that's kind of where I suppose the Reiki journey steps in, is because you're always changing, you're always evolving, just like that, a lot more quick than you would if you were, I suppose, not attuned to Reiki. I find that you constantly changing, constant, and you'll need someone to keep up with that. That's the tricky part, is that someone has to be just as much changing, and you both have to be ready at all times for that constant change.
So if one of the partners is not actually willing to confront these things, where does it go?
Stalemate, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think, you know, that's probably why there's a high amount of divorces going on, because it's like we haven't got time. We haven't got time to be fart-arsing around, and we're not going to get on with it and start working through stuff. We can't be bothered, and it's got to be a 50-50 thing. I think that's what I've noticed with soulmates, is that there's got to be a compromise. There's got to be a 50-50, you know, meet me halfway with what I'm working on here.
Yeah.
You've got to be accountable for what you are bringing to the relationship on all sides, like negativity and positivity.
Yeah.
I think you've got to be accountable for your actions and work on it. So that you can become the better person for it. I mean, if they're not going to be working on their half of things, then, you know, I think the gap would get bigger spiritually. Like if they're not going to come to the party, then they seem to start growing apart.
And I find though, well, especially for me, is that I want the best for that person in my life, because I love them so dearly. I want to go, it's okay, you can do this way, you can learn from this, but you can take a cup of water, but you can't make a drink, you know?
That's it.
So, I mean, as much as we love these people in our life, we also have to accept that their journey may be taking a different road, maybe taking a little bit more time, and that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, or that you haven't tried everything in your power to keep the relationship alive. It just means that the universe has a different idea, and we have to trust and have faith that the universe is putting us right on track.
Yeah.
You know?
So you said before about a soulmate could be male or female. Do you think that, like, have you had an experience where you've got a soulmate that you're not going to get romantically involved with?
100%. Yeah.
So tell me how that evolves, the soulmate friendship.
A friendship, it's just, oh, I'm getting goosebumps. It's a different kind of friendship. It's where you're a lot more accepting. And funny enough, they seem to go away, come back, go away, come back. And each time, you know, with I call her my soulmate, she's my best friend, and we've had many times we've had to go away and come back and go away and come back. But we've noticed a bit of a pattern is that when we've had to go away from each other, we were going through similar things, but we had to do it separately.
Yeah.
And when we've come back together, we've grown again. And it's something beautiful to be so deep in a conversation where you both get it. and every time that we're in a room together or we're talking, we're just filled with so much joy. And that's something really, really special. And I think for a friendship, it's definitely taught me a lot about social interactions, about people. You know, a few years ago, I was quite a jealous person. You know, you're friends with me, you can't be friends with her, kind of thing. And I've had to learn, especially with her in my life. She's such a social butterfly, and I'm such a social butterfly, and that's something that I had to learn to go, that's cool, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I shouldn't stop that. And that's the thing, is that why would you want to change someone? Why would you want to stop that growth when it's something beautiful?
That's it. And I think it's evident with soulmates, as in intimate relationships or friendships. I think with soulmates, you have to let the other person grow.
That's it.
That's the hard part, is letting them grow, letting them go so that they can grow.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, and definitely, like, you know, the times that we were apart, both of us said that we felt like, you know, we needed that time apart, but we could feel a whole. You know, we could feel like, no, I would love to just call her up and just tell her how things are. But, you know, the universe has a funny way of putting things back together.
Yeah.
And I admire that with the universe, is that when they're ready to come back, they do.
Yeah, that's true. What's the saying? That if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was.
And the best part about a soulmate is that you want to let them free. You want them to be their best selves they possibly can be, because that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, that's true beauty.
So what would you say to a mate that has become stagnant? Like, and you can see that there's no growth. You can see that, and it's very frustrating for you. So what do you say? Do you help them? Do you walk away? What do you do?
I mean, this is where I'm at right now. I think you feel it. You feel when you've given everything that you can to someone, wanting to give them the tools, wanting to show them the love that they can have. There has to be a point where you have to step away. They got to figure it out for themselves, and that's really, really hard to do. And like I said, you have to have faith in the universe. They'll bring them back if they need to come back. If not, maybe that person that has come into your life, maybe you were enough of an impact to them to want to be better, to keep going on this journey, to change if they need to not change, transmutate.
Yeah.
I prefer that word, because it's shedding the old. It doesn't mean that you're changing your essence of who you are, but it's becoming something better, something new, something that you can be proud of and stronger. And the hardest part is having to walk away from someone like that.
Absolutely.
Hardest thing.
Absolutely. And sometimes I find that it might be temporary when you walk away from someone, that you let them go long enough to work on their issues. And, you know, it's going into the dark cave and working on those deep issues.
Yeah.
And I think a time where both of you can go into a deep cave and do some soul searching.
Yeah.
You know, we call it a hermit phase in Reiki, where we go into a deep place where we don't have a lot of social interaction, and we work very deeply on our personal issues, and come out like the butterfly at the other side, and fly into goodness.
Yeah.
So I think you've got to allow yourself to do that. I think if a couple can give themselves space to do that deep work, I think, you know, if you can stay there or come back together, that could be for a really good, strong relationship.
I agree. And the key to this is that no relationship is the same. They're all different. So whether that takes you months, years, whatever it does, if someone can withstand being in your life and accepting that this is what you need, I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
You know? But
I agree.
you have to, it's trial and error. You
Yeah.
can't, there's no rule book for life.
No, not at all. No,
Yeah.
you've got to stumble on. All right. Well, I think those cards gave us some very good insight on soulmates. This is Ali, and you can check out her site called The Heartist on...
It's on WordPress, but it's on a blog. You can check out my Instagram as well. So it's ALLEYNAKAE. All the links are there. I'll link this down below as well.
Awesome.
All my social media.
So thank you very much for watching the Reiki Couch today with our interviews from a new avenue. Yeah. So check us out on www.westernschoolofreiki.com and on the Facebook page.
See you soon.
Namaste.